Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we're standing on the seawall in downtown Vancouver. Another gorgeous summer day here.
That's right. And what are we doing here right now?
Well, we're standing here, and right behind us, and you're going to hear the music come up right away, is a brand new bistro, Mate. M8.
That's right, actually. We're going to come later in the show. We're going to come back and check this wonderful new place out, as Lita said, right on the water. And this place needs more new places like this. So
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's right. That's coming up later in Our City Tonight. But let's get right to that title sequence. We got a big show. Here it is.
Well, we're here in Vanier Park at Bard on the Beach, one of our favorite festivals, the Shakespearean Festival. It's their 30th anniversary, and we are really excited for this particular segment, aren't we, Jim?
We are, Harry. We always like doing segments with you. We always leave it as the last segment of the day for obvious reasons. But we have not seen you since that fantastic wine fest that you guys put on this past winter. So it's summer. It's Bard on the Beach, of course, people are here, but all through the summer of Vancouver, people are talking maybe about a little rosé.
Rosé is the official beverage of summertime.
That's very true.
And people think of rosé being pink, but look at these different shades of pink. It's amazing how, even though it all comes from red grapes.
Interesting. Well, I was really dying to ask you, you know, they call it rosé, but there's a peach color, there's an orange, there's almost a reddish, there's a very, very light with a slight color. They're just an array. How does it get that way? What's the cause of the coloring difference?
Rosés come from red grapes, but the juice of red grapes, in most cases, is clear. So the color of the wine comes from the skins of the grapes.
Okay.
So red wines spend a lot of time in contact with the skins while it's fermenting, and rosés might be just a couple hours or a day. So whether how pale it is or how dark it is depends on how long the juice is with the skins of the red grapes. Now, having said that, it's not as easy as you thought, because half of this sparkling wine is Pinot Gris. So this is kind of a blend of red grapes and white grapes, which gives it that little bit of pink color. And also this has a little bit of white wine in here as well. But essentially, rosé is a red wine made the same way as white wine. That's why it's chilled.
Well, do me a favor, you just started to lead into it. Let's start with, you've got a good cross-section as always of wines from various regions. Let's start with this one in Hello Vancouver Island.
We're starting on the West Coast, Cowichan Valley, Vancouver Island, and this is a sparkling wine. So one of the great things about rosé is you can have it in a sparkling format.
Oh, like that.
And then essentially we're going to just head east to Similkameen Valley, which is just over the range from Okanagan. And this rosé is made by Howard Soon, who just got Order of Canada. And he's been making wine in British Columbia for just decades.
Wonderful. And
this is a rosé mostly Syrah with a little bit of Merlot, a really pale color, so it means it didn't spend that much time on skins. Then you see this darkest one here, which is from the Okanagan Valley, and that's a blend of Pinot Noir and Gamay with a little bit of Pinot Gris and Pinot Meunier, a grape that's used in Champagne, is also in there. So a little more skin contact. It's a little bit fruitier. This is a very pale, lean style. And then we have another Okanagan wine that's actually being served at Bard on the Beach. For the first time, Bard on the Beach is serving rosé.
And we should say, Harry, that you've put a cup out there. We're not clowning around here, but obviously they can't have wine glasses here at Bard, so Bard has put out these perfectly usable cups, plastic.
They're great, and they're compostable.
And you know what? They actually fit in the holder in front of you while you're watching the show.
Well done, Bard on the Beach.
And then, of course, we got to go to the location, the region of the inspiration of rosé, which is Provence in southern France. This is that classic onion skin, salmon color. It's beautiful. And the other thing about rosé, looking ahead at next year's wine festival, rosé is going to be one of our themes, because you know what? What's great about rosé? You can drink it with brunch, lunch, dinner, any season. It's rosé all day, all year round.
Can I ask you a question, Harry? I'm curious if the tastes are predominantly different in the different regions for one, as well as keeping the skins in. How does keeping the skins in longer change the flavor?
Generally, the paler the wine, the lighter in flavor. The darker the rosé, the more heftier the flavor profile, the body. But it's not as easy as that. And I think the main point about rosé, look, there's 5 different glasses, 5 different colors. Don't worry about it. Grab a glass, close your eyes, point at a rosé, and just pour yourself. Here, why don't you grab one of these rosés? Oh yes, she loves the bubble.
I do like
That's
the bubble.
right.
I'm going to try I want to try this.
Why don't you try this?
Oh, the French, yes, of course.
And then
Jim's fancy.
and here's what I'm going.
Old school.
Bard style.
Nice.
We should say before we have a sip, we should say, of course, Bard on the Beach starting in a few seconds. That's what the ringing of the bell was. They're here until end of September. For you guys, year-round with the Wine Fest, where can people find out more information? Because it's coming your way quicker than you think. Next February, early March.
VanWinefest.ca. We're
Excellent.
going to be announcing our wineries October 1st, and then France. Apparently, the French make pretty good wine. France is going to be our theme.
Second, actually, yeah.
And we're also going to profile rosés. We're going to have about 160 to 170 wineries from around the world with at least 90 examples of great rosés from around the world. Because when you go to a restaurant, you don't want to just see a list of white wines and red wines.
No.
It's time to go to the restaurants and go, where's the rosé?
We do
All
all
year
the time,
round.
but I need to ask you too,
right.
because Bard is going till late fall. When is their last date for Bard? I believe September 21st.
They run to the end of September.
End of September, so the
Great
shows have
shows.
been really, really spectacular
And busy.
this year.
We're happy to hear. Thanks to Cinnamon, by the way, who helped us out. She's got a
Cinnamon,
lovely
you're
name and a
awesome.
lovely person who helped us out here at Bard. Come check it out. They got information on their
It's like
website.
a rosé color.
It's beautiful. Harry, don't be a stranger to our show because you always show up with this kind of stuff. So, cheers.
Cheers. Well, we're here outside in a beautiful cabana at H2 Restaurant at the Westin Bayshore, another iconic hotel here in Vancouver, kind of in the heart of downtown. It is a beautiful day, and we are really in the heart of summer, which leads me to ask Matt Kerr from Team Kerr and Stillhaven, what's the environment in real estate right now? You know, we get to hear all kinds of different things, but you guys are on the top of the food chain. I like to say that in real estate.
Yeah.
You have some of the top agents in the city. Well, all your agents are top agents in the city. You really do have a finger on the pulse of what's happening. So fill us in.
Yeah, so you know, here we are in the summer, and there's been a lot going on in the real estate world. And here in Vancouver, we talk about real estate more than we talk about the weather.
True.
Okay, so and what I wanted to do was come on today and just kind of give you an idea of what's actually happening, what's going on, because it seems like we're getting a little bit mixed news from our client base and from our agents of what they're asking. So. We've seen actually a considerable change in how the market's been performing. So essentially, we've seen the inventory remain pretty stable, so the amount of available properties is quite stable, but we've seen the transactions of the amount of sales, in some cases, nearly double. Now, we've seen like the market has dropped, there's no question. Media wasn't been wrong about that, but if they find one point, it's usually like exploited.
Negative sells, right? They sell newspapers.
If it bleeds, it leads. I'm here to kind of hopefully bring, in this short segment, to bring a little bit of reality to it. So now what does that mean? Like if you see the sales go up and the inventory stays stable, well that usually, depending on the area, okay, would mean that we're seeing a correction, the correction stop. We're starting to see maybe some upward pressure on pricing. Now I can't promise that. But I would, any of your viewers would be to contact their realtor and stay very, very close to what's happening in the market. Because if you are interested in buying a property, it's very important that you pay attention to the stats so you know what's going on and so you can get in the market and so you don't lose it again. Here in Vancouver, we have a very, very volatile market. And when it's hot, it's very hot. Mm-hmm. And we've gone through a bit of a cold slump. It's been soft landing, but it's not like free falling.
Do you think it's because people are a little afraid of what they're hearing from the news as opposed to what's reality? And I know that your company, you're very diligent. You work from the stats. Mm-hmm. You're not hiding anything.
In my hand here is the stats I wanted to grab on. I came with the cheat sheet. You know?
That's fine.
Just
we do that all the time.
So I'm not, so I'm proper with the numbers, right? And so, yeah. So for example, in North Vancouver, this is because I have many clients who live and eat and sleep and breathe in North Vancouver, and there is a 98% increase in transactions.
Wow.
From 1 month to basically from April into May. That's just to give us an example. That's an enormous increase in transactions, but the inventory is the same. Like the inventory actually, I think the inventory actually shrank. No, inventory is up just slightly, just by 2%. So it's a huge, huge discrepancy. Now, if that continues, that excess inventory is actually going to get gobbled up over the next few months.
So Matt, what would your advice be to, first sellers and then buyers?
Okay, sellers, in a market like this, because it's really important that you're priced well and you're priced within reality. It seems like if you're slightly overpriced, the buyers don't even come. Okay. Or in some cases, you might even have this, if some of your properties are on the market, you have 100 buyers come through over a couple of week period, but you get no offers. Well, that's the market sending a really, really clear message, right? And further to the sellers, make sure that whoever is listing your property are marketing it properly. The marketing is such a massive piece of this. Mm-hmm. We're seeing some realtors, not in our office so much, that are just pulling back a little bit on their marketing expenses, right? So we push forward and make sure you know what you're paying for when you're getting there. Make sure there's video, photos, floor plans. Make sure there's a strategy with social media. Those sort of major things where people are looking to find properties. And then to the buyers.
Yeah, let's end it with the buyers on Strong.
Yeah, and the buyers on the other side is just to, like what I said, keep your eyes on the stats. Know where you're looking for. If you find a place you love, then don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Mortgage rates are stable, and if not, they might even descend a little bit from the last news I got. So just watch the stats so you don't get left behind.
Perfect. So where can people find out more about Team Kerr?
Yeah, teamkerr.ca. If you have any questions, you just want some advice, our tagline is real estate advice for life. If you just want to know what's going on in the market, please feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to help you out with that. Or stillhaven.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for spending time with us today and
Pleasure.
enlightening us. Thanks, Matt.
Well, we are back here where we started the show, Lita, at a brand new place right along the seawall called Mate.
M8, sort of like a James Bond kind of version, I think.
And you and I have talked before about how much this area really needs a place like this. This is, if you're watching the rest of the country, this is a great part of the downtown area, the boats and everything. Granville Island baseball's thrown from here. So let's go check out this great party.
Well, now we are inside Mate with the man himself, the owner and chef, Chef Scene. We are thrilled with this space. It's such a beautiful space on the seawall. And what's different that you're doing here at Mate?
The difference will be, the cuisine-wise, we're doing Italian Chinese cuisine, and we highlight the Chinese flavor, but use it more like Italian technique. And I find a real strong connection between Italian cuisine and Chinese cuisine, so that's why we have this place. That's how we come up with this unique cuisine.
We should also talk about your background. You've certainly got a long background. Can you talk about your history as a chef?
I started about 2008, I think. I started at Chin Chin, and then about a year and a half, and then I moved to Jericho Tennis Club, and then I was offered for a little bit, and then I went back to fine dining just because I'm gonna pick up the fine dining sense. So I went back to Chopino, which is how I met Chef Pino, one of my mentor. About on and off about 2 years, and then I opened a restaurant called MoMA Bistro at Richmond, and then it was about 2.5 years, and then I stopped and I closed the door because at the time I feel like I need more experience, and so I started travel a little bit, and then just to see what the people outside of Vancouver, what they're doing.
It's good for a chef to know what else people are eating, right? Yeah, good around the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I started doing a little bit catering, a little bit event for charity, and then after that I see this beautiful place, and then I kind of I feel like maybe it's time to open a restaurant.
Perfect. Now tell us one dish that anybody watching has to come down and try.
Okay, the one dish will be my shimiji mushroom tempura. The reason I said this, because this dish is actually from my childhood memory. It's one of the dishes I always eat, I grew up with, made by my grandpa.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a nice sound. Also, listen, I know you're really busy. We want to thank you for talking to us early before this party really gets going. But
Okay.
best of luck with this
All right.
place. And
Thank
thank
you
you for
very much.
joining us. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Romy, unlock front doors. Romy, switch accounts.
What can I do for you, David?
Switch accounts. Jesse Ryder account. It was a joint playlist. Also, the Romy only refers to my husband. I've deleted his information and reset it in the past, but for some reason, yesterday it started doing it again.
Well, you're looking at acclaimed Canadian actress Camille Sullivan in a new, very creepy, tense, and very timely new short film called Romy. I got to tell you, this movie is making the circuits right now. It'll be out, I would assume, next fall, Camille. People will be able to see it in some form or another, maybe?
Yeah, should be next fall. Yeah, at some festivals.
Well, what you're looking right there, well, you're looking at Camille Sullivan right here. We're at Ford's Restaurant on Robson Street. Give our viewers a little sense of what they're looking at right there, because I said very timely, this is like the new kind of stalking. In your case, a little different, but explain what your character was going through there.
Well, it's a horror film, and it's sort of based around the idea of one of these, I don't even know what they're called because I'm so anti-technology, one of these home devices like an Alexa that talks to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, how much control does that device have? And when that device starts to have more control over your home than you do, how safe are you?
Yeah, and how powerless your character is.
Very powerless.
Well, listen, you've been on the show a bunch of times. Every time you come on, you've got a very interesting, very powerful project to talk about, including this one we just mentioned. But let's go back. Last time we saw you, Lee, to talk to you about a really timely and a story that really needed to be told. It was on CBC called The Unspeakable, about the blood-tainting story scandal in the early 80s. And if you missed it on CBC this year, it's now available on Crave. CBC Gem. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers a bit about your character and the role in that film.
So I play the mother of a hemophiliac, and so he uses blood products to deal with his disease. And through those blood products, he becomes infected with. A lot of people become infected with HIV and some with hepatitis C. And so it's basically about that time period in our history where it was really a dark period for the medical community. And when HIV was just emerging and no one understood what the virus was yet either.
And it, of course, CBC Gem. Another project I really encourage our viewers to see that you talked about last year on our show was a miniseries for CTV called The Disappearance, where you play the mom of a child. Like, this is the worst parent nightmare. Tell our viewers a bit about that.
So basically, in the first episode, it's not a spoiler. My child goes to school and he never comes home.
Yeah.
And then, it's a 6 episodes of watching our family desperately try to unravel this mystery and hopefully find him.
It's a really powerful, I mean, it's really great too, because when shows are done like this in Canada, I love that, because they get exported. And you can see this on CTV Crave, and as we said, CBC Gem for Unspeakable. And it's great because it gets Canadian product out into the world, which I don't think we do enough of.
Yeah, well, The Disappearance is going to air in the States starting this July on WGN America.
Which is a massive superstation out of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if it's Chicago,
you
but
gotta
it
know
is a big
WGN.
station.
If you want a single station to air your show on, that's the station to do it. Okay, let's talk about what you got going on now. Are you taking the summer off? Because I know you showed up here today. You said you were enjoying a little beach time, a little downtime, because you're very busy.
I am. I'm taking a little downtime. I'm working on a little writing project, and I have something that I can't tell you about that I cross your fingers for that will happen.
One question I always like to ask actors, writers, singers is, when did you first see your craft and go, that is what I want to do? Was there a movie, a play, something that inspired you to say, I want to do that for a living?
I think there probably was. When I was a kid, I went to see, I lived in Toronto, and I went to Stratford, and I saw Hamlet with Combe Fiore, and I think that was probably it, honestly.
Another very good Canadian actor. Yeah, growing up in Toronto myself, Stratford was a yearly pilgrimage that I would do with school or with my parents who were kind enough to take me. Well, listen, you've got so much going on, but again, let's just go over this again. Unspeakable is on CBC Gem, which is a service here, I guess a video on demand streaming service, yeah. And The Disappearance is on Crave, which is connected to CTV, and of course look for Romy, R-O-M-I, next fall, a 10-minute short, which I imagine will show up online somewhere, but it's something you want to see. It's Camille Sullivan, one of our faves here on Our City Tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Get back to the beach now.
This Italian Moment is brought to you by the Italian Chamber of Commerce Canada West in association with True Italian Taste.
Well, look what we found. One of our dear pals is talking to us right now. Chris Chewy is the president, I guess we could say, of Lavish Liquid, yeah? Yeah. He's one of the top guys, I know that much.
Up there.
What are we doing here with you today?
Well, today it's Italian Day. We're on Commercial Drive, we're having some fun, and we're making drinks. And we're making drinks with Malfi gin, and a Malfi style gin from Italy. And we're using lots of different styles of expressions using Italian citrus. So we have lemon, we have grapefruit, and we also have limoncello, and there's also a blood orange that we have right behind me as well. And the gin's really quite delicious. It just came to Canada, BC particularly, in the last little while, and it's been around for the last 5 years.
And so, Chris, you work with a lot of different spirits. What would you say how this one stands out?
Well, I mean, this one, because it's playing more on the citrus notes, it's great for that summertime style gin. Right, it's great with soda and a nice traditional dry tonic. We're using Tassoni today, which is also Italian tonic, to play on the different flavors that we're serving today. Again, we have that lemon, that blood orange, and grapefruit. And it's beautiful summertime gin.
And where can they find this this beverage?
Well, this particular beverage, obviously you can have it today here on Commercial Drive, but you can also find it in your BC liquor stores, some specialty liquor stores as well, like Legacy, BCLs, all those kind of things.
Marina, you speak both languages, of course, English and Italian. You're going to have to speak English with me.
Okay.
Let's talk about your product that you're showcasing here today.
Okay, may I show you a bag?
You can show me a bag.
Okay,
You do whatever
sure.
you want.
We have the lovely product here. They're called half moons, mezzaluna. They come from Veneto, which is near Venice.
Love Venice.
So we have 3 types. We have chocolate, we have traditional Italian cream, crema italiano, and we have apricot. And they're only for 1 coupon. You can't go wrong. These are delicious, light. You won't put on an ounce by eating these. No calories.
Sure. You know what? When I eat Italian, I'm not worried about calories or putting weight on. I want to enjoy Italian food. And I got to think this is
delicious. Yeah.
This Italian Moment was brought to you by the Italian Chamber of Commerce Canada West in association with True Italian Taste.
We are here at the iconic Westin Bayshore in downtown Vancouver, right in the middle of Cole Harbour. This place has changed a lot over the years, and one of the cool things they're doing around the restaurant and the pool area is the cabana where we're sitting right now. I'm with Carol Tran, who is the Genesis Experience Manager for Genesis Vancouver. First time on our show. Welcome. Kind of windy and chilly here at the moment. That's okay. All right. As a Genesis Experience Manager, our viewers may not have seen some of our previous segments. Tell us about the Genesis Experience.
So the Genesis experience starts out at your home or at your workplace. That's what makes the brand different. We will bring the car to your home, to your work for your test drive. When you purchase your vehicle, we can bring the vehicle to your home, and everything's done at your convenience.
Which I like, because if I see something I like, I call you. You say, no, don't come to the dealership. We'll come to your home office, whatever you want to do. One of the things you guys do that I never thought of is you allow you let a potential customer like me drive the car in the neighborhood I'm familiar with. I'm not going to a dealership, right?
That's right, yeah.
And we've talked about this before on our show, and this is quite a feat for you guys. The G70 Car of the Year. Tell our viewers why it is and deserves to be Car of the Year.
So the G70 North American Car of the Year, it appeals to a wide range of people. Appeals to everyone. It's a fun vehicle to drive. It handles really well and comes with a ton of great standard features.
And can you tell us a bit about those?
Yeah, so some of my personal favorites is the 360 camera, gives you a bird's eye view of the vehicle, helps you with parking, something that really helps me out, and such as the panoramic sunroof, and all the safety features are standard.
When you showed up today here at the Westin Bayshore, I noticed a lot of people were staring and pointing at the car. You showed up driving the G80. Which is cool because, of course, anybody watching this can see that you're much younger than I am, and that's the kind of brand of the vehicle that seems to appeal to the younger sets. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah? And tell us about what you love about the G80.
I like that it's really spacious. Just it has a particular look to the grille and rims, so that makes the G80 Sport stand out.
Can you talk to about where people can find out more information? You guys obviously are very active on social media in all facets, but where can people find out more about the brand website-wise?
Yeah, genesis.ca or contact me at genesisvancouver.com.
That's right, Genesis Vancouver and Genesis Richmond, of course. Carol Tran, it's your first appearance on the show. You did a great job. Thank you for joining us here at the Westin Bayshore. Carol is the Genesis Experience Manager with Genesis Vancouver, Genesis Richmond, of course, Genesis Lower Mainland. All part of what we do here on Our City Tonight.
Well, Jim, we're here in New Westminster, kind of the suburbs for us, at the Royal Crown Castle Restaurant and Bar. We're on their great deck. It's a beautiful day, and what are we doing?
Well, it's time for another DVD spotlight / giveaway for our wonderful viewers. We like giving things away. Again, we know a lot of people don't have DVD players anymore, but we do. We know a lot of people do because we always get people asking us on the street when we're going to do more DVD giveaways. This one is a personal favorite of mine because you know I love Sinatra.
Oh, you do.
Shout Factory, a great place to get old collectible TV shows and eclectic documentaries and movies and TV. They put out this great documentary, and it's about Sinatra's life in Palm Springs, where he spent pretty much about 45 years. I love Palm Springs, as you know, as well, so it was great to see some of the restaurants Sinatra hung out at, that I hang out when I go there. A wonderful documentary. And Lita, how can people win copies of this cool doc?
People can send us an email at ourcitytonighttv@gmail.com. Just simply say, I want to win the Sinatra DVD.
Excellent. Thanks to Shout Factory, and good luck to you, our viewers.
Well, we're back here on the seawall in Vancouver, downtown, and we're standing in front of where we started the show, Mate Bistro.
That's right. We had a great time there, and we had a great time on this show. Don't forget, for past episodes, you can check out our YouTube channel and, of course, all the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all Our City Tonight. I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapin.
And we will see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Genesis Lower Mainland, with 2 great locations in Richmond and Vancouver. Test drive, purchase, maintenance. They come to you. Some of my summer clothing provided by Emile Clothing Company, located in Yaletown, Vancouver, and online. Additional clothing for Lita provided by Blushing Boutique, also located in downtown Vancouver.